Have you ever wondered what it takes to truly break a man? It's not the grand betrayal you see in movies. It's not a single catastrophic event. No, the moment that permanently shatters a man's heart is far quieter, more insidious. It's the slow, chilling realization that his deepest sacrifices went completely unnoticed. It is the discovery that the very people he fought to protect never even saw him as their shield. They saw him only as a resource, a tool, something to be used, and then discarded when it was no longer convenient. This isn't just about a lack of gratitude, it's about the erasure of his very purpose, the void left when he understands that the foundation he built his life upon was made of sand. This truth matters because it's a silent epidemic running through the core of our society. It explains the quiet desperation you see in the eyes of so many men, the resigned sighs, the distant gazes. It's a psychological wound that festers in the dark, feeding on an unspoken social contract, the man as the provider, the protector, the rock. But what happens when the rock crumbles and no one hears it fall? This isn't just sadness, it's a profound existential crisis. He learns that his role was not one of love, but of utility. He was a function, not a person. This realization triggers a cognitive dissonance so severe that his entire perception of reality, of love, of his own worth, collapses. He has played a game without knowing the rules, only to find out at the end that his score was always zero. The psychological mechanism at play here is a brutal combination of instrumentalization and invalidation. Instrumentalization is when you are treated as a means to an end. You are not a human being with feelings and dreams. You are a hammer, a wallet, a solution to a problem. When the problem is solved, your value disappears. Invalidation is the denial of your reality, your emotions, your sacrifice. Imagine a man working 2 jobs, sacrificing his health and his time, giving up his own dreams so his family can have a better life. He doesn't complain. He sees it as his duty, his purpose. But then, one day, he overhears a conversation. They're not talking about his hard work. They're complaining about the things he hasn't provided. His sacrifices aren't just unappreciated. They don't even exist in their world. He is invisible. He has become a ghost in his own life. The love he thought he was earning was never on the table. He was only ever being measured by his function. This silent dismissal is more painful than any overt act of cruelty. Type in the comments, "My existence is my own validation." Niccolo Machiavelli, a master observer of human nature, understood this cold calculus perfectly. He wrote, "Men are so simple and so subject to present necessities that he who seeks to deceive will always find someone who will allow himself to be deceived." A man's desire to protect and provide is a present necessity that others can exploit. He willingly walks into a trap disguised as a noble cause. Machiavelli also warned that it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Why? Because love is fickle, held by a chain of obligation which, because men are wicked, is broken at every opportunity for their own utility. But fear is held by a dread of punishment which never fails. The good man operates on the currency of love and loyalty. He believes his sacrifices will earn him a place of honor, but in a world that often operates on Machiavellian principles, his love is seen as a weakness, and his loyalty as an opportunity for exploitation. He is the prince who rules with his heart, only to be overthrown by those who rule with cold, calculated self-interest. He learns, far too late, that the battlefield of life rewards strategy, not sentiment. His virtue becomes his undoing. Let me tell you a story. Think of a man named Arthur. He wasn't a hero or a tycoon, he was just a regular man. He loved his wife and daughter more than anything. For 20 years, he worked at a factory, a job that chipped away at his body but filled his daughter's college fund. He missed his own hobbies, his friends faded away, his world shrank until it was just the factory floor and the four walls of his home. His sacrifice was his silent anthem. His daughter graduated, got a great job, and moved away. One evening, Arthur, now older and worn, found his wife's old journal. Curious, he opened it. He read about her dreams, her frustrations, her life. He searched for his name, for any mention of his sacrifice. He found it. One entry read, "Arthur works so hard. I wish he had more ambition like my sister's husband. We could have had so much more." Another said, "He's a good man, I suppose. Reliable, but life feels so beige." There was no acknowledgement of the sleepless nights, the aching back, the dreams he had put on a shelf for them. He wasn't her partner, he was a feature of the scenery. The provider, the reliable beige man. In that moment, sitting in the quiet house, the silence was deafening. The factory noise had been less lonely. Arthur didn't cry. He just closed the journal and realized the man he had been for 20 years was a character in a story no one else had read. The foundation of his life wasn't just cracked, it had never existed. And here is the twist that should chill you to the bone. You have been this person. Not just Arthur, but the one holding the journal. You have looked at someone in your life, a parent, a partner, a friend, and have seen only their function. You have measured their worth by what they do for you, not by who they are. You have benefited from their sacrifices while being completely blind to the cost. You've taken their reliability for granted, mistaking their consistency for a lack of passion. You have been the unintentional author of someone else's quiet heartbreak. The world isn't divided into villains and victims. It is a world of flawed human beings operating from a place of self-interest, often masked as love. The great illusion is believing you are the exception. You are not just the one who gets broken. You are, unknowingly, the one who breaks. The cage of utility is one you both occupy and build for others. It is the human condition. Type this affirmation: I see the person, not just their role. So, what is the moment that breaks a man permanently? It's the final, silent curtain fall on the play he thought was his life. It's the cold, empty echo in the space where he expected to hear applause, or at least a whisper of thanks. It's the revelation that his love was just a transaction, and he was on the losing end of the deal. He doesn't become angry or bitter, not in the end. He becomes hollow. He learns the most devastating truth of all, that you can give your entire soul to someone, and for them, it can be the equivalent of receiving nothing. He is no longer a participant in the game of life. He becomes a spectator, watching others play with a passion he can no longer remember. The tragedy is not that his heart was broken. The tragedy is that he realizes it was never truly held in the first place. He is left alone with the ghost of the man he sacrificed for nothing. The final, haunting realization is this: the most profound loneliness is not being alone, but being with people who make you feel alone. He gave everything, only to learn that his everything had no value in the currency of their world. He is a king who discovers his kingdom was a mirage, and his subjects were never there. And the quiet understanding that settles in his soul is not one of defeat, but of simple, stark clarity. It was all for nothing. Thank you for joining this reflection. If these ideas resonate with you, subscribe for more truths hidden in the shadows of the human mind.